I honestly didn't expect it at all. I thought it would be a niche little thing that maybe sold 50 tickets during All-In Weekend. It means a lot that it struck a chord with people and that they are enjoying the content we put out. We found this nice little community of people who not just love wrestling, but want justice, hate what's going on.
Welcome back to Grapple Theory, and it's our first proper interview of 2025. We're starting off with a bang. We're starting off by welcoming Gio from CEASEFIRE, Pro Wrestling CEASEFIRE. Very, very new promotion, just started up, but you guys are doing great work. It's great to have you here because you've got a busy first couple of the months of 2025 coming up. So Gio, welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you here. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me on, and I'm honored to be the first guest of the new year. It's no pressure at all.
No pressure. It's fine. All of our other first guests have knocked it out of the park, but there's no pressure for you. It's fine. It's chill.
Oh, good.
But it's great to have you here. As I said there, you've got a huge sort of first couple of months of 2025 coming up with CEASEFIRE. But first of all, just for yourself, as we were just talking about before recording, you just come back from Japan, doing a whole like tour out there, announcing and commentating and stuff. Like that seems like it must have been just the time of your life.
It's such a cliche, but it really was a dream come true. You know, I spent just over 2 weeks in Japan, performing in venues I've always dreamed about performing in, meeting wrestlers I never thought I'd get to meet, and not just meeting them, but working with them. You know, first show was at the Nippon Budokan, then we did the New Year reboot at Shinjuku Face, then I made my commentary debut for Marigold, which was really wild because I got to be, you know, this close to Sari versus Utami Hayashishita, which, I mean, you know, we're only a couple of weeks into 2025, but it is going to be hard for a match to top that for me. That for me is the bar at which wrestling this year has been set at.
I was going to say, not even being there, just watching it, like, it just thought like, that's a match of the year right there. Like, how does anything top that? It was incredible. And like being there, I imagine must have been even cooler.
It was unreal. The atmosphere was fantastic as well. It felt like a bit of a gear change for Marigold because it's almost, I said it on commentary as well, it's impossible, or it was impossible to picture Sari without that Marigold World Championship around her waist or over her shoulder. But when the bell rang and Hayashishita was holding it at the end, I thought, well, it does look pretty good on her. So it's sort of like a new era in Marigold. We also have the new Twin Star champions. I think every championship bar the GHC Women's Championship ended up changing hands, but sadly, Kuki Amare's now had to vacate due to injury. So, you know, again, that's an opportunity for other talents to step up. And who knows, it may even be held by a fellow Brit, because I got to celebrate my Marigold debut with Nightshade making hers as well. So that was a lot of fun.
I was going to say, that must be like, again, like a really almost surreal experience to go halfway around the world and you're sat there and there's just Nightshade who you see like loads because she wrestles here, like all like across the country.
Yeah, we shared a little moment after the show. We were talking about, you know, how sometimes the journey in wrestling, it's always long, it's always difficult, it's always grueling. And sometimes, you know, you'll be like 3 hours into a 6-hour car ride where you've made 30 quid and you go, why do I do this to myself? Why do I put myself through it? And we were reminiscing about the fact that, you know, we used to, you know, see each other in a community center in Kent and barely make any money. And then here we are in Otter City for Marigold in front of, I think it was close to 1,000 people to kick off the year. It just, it was a really nice moment to share. And I'm glad we got a photo together as well to commemorate the moment.
No, I love that. Love Nightshade. She's done great work out there. Her run out there has been brilliant. Like, again, she's just been having the best time. And like, she's been putting on some great matches as well, like, which is great for people to see. Like, I think not enough people know how good she is.
Oh, absolutely. There's a reason they keep bringing her back to Japan. They love her out there.
Yeah, she's brilliant. She does a great job out there. And we're like, well, we need her back soon because, like, again, we need some more matches over here. But for as long as she's out there, she's doing great.
Yeah, Japan is snapping up all the UK talent. You know, today it just got announced that Mark True and Kieran Lacey are going over to compete in the Junior Tag League, which just makes me so happy because, you know, there's video evidence. Go all the way back to 2018, 2019. We've been saying these kids are the future, these kids are the future, these kids are the future. Well, they're not really kids now, and they're not really the future. They're sort of the present. And the fact that their first match is going to be against the Rattels is absolutely insane. And I will be watching that on Wrestle Universe live for sure.
As anyone else should. I mean, this isn't a plug. We're not sponsored. I wish we were sponsored. That'd be great. But as anyone else should as well. Like, I heard, now this is unofficial, but I heard that it was the guys at Noah watched that that tag match that you guys put on at Ceasefire with True Lacey in the main event. And that was the moment they were like, oh, they've seen this. They were like, oh my God, we have to bring these guys over. It was that match.
Well, if that is the case, I'm very proud and very happy because that's all I want from you know, from these shows and what we put on is I want it to entertain the fans and also, you know, grow the careers of everyone involved. You know, otherwise, what's the point in putting them on? But you know, I'd like to think that it was more Mark and Kieran's 3 amazing performances on the Noah UK tour that you had of last year. Yeah, I was lucky enough to see their match in person at the London date. I sadly couldn't make all 3 dates, but you know, they wowed the ballroom. They clearly wowed Noah management, and they are going to take this opportunity and run with it. You know, it's no small feat. You know, Pro Wrestling Noah, you know, not just one of the largest companies in Japan, but in the world.
Yeah.
Plucking two guys from Essex over to their junior tag team division is insane, but I know they're absolutely going to smash it, and I'm really proud of them.
And you said as well, you said they're not kids anymore. They still sort of are. They're still just disgustingly young.
I know, it's ridiculous. I mean, they used to be called TWA, Teens of Attitude, but they're definitely not teens anymore, like when I first met them.
Yeah, they had to change that. At a certain point, you knew that name was going to have to change.
Yeah, I mean, what could they be? YAWA, Young Adults with Attitude, but it doesn't flow off the tongue as well.
Well, does it? No. No, they'll get there. There'll be something else. There'll be something else with attitude.
Be a GWA, Gaijin with Attitude after the Japan.
Yeah, that's a great name.
I'm going to message him right now and say, guys, I've got it.
Oh my God, that's great. If that's how they'll come out, if they go with that now, oh, it's going to be brilliant. It's going to be brilliant. But no, I love it. I love it. And again, like we talk about that, like we're going to get into a lot of Ceasefire stuff because again, like you say, like you just got back from Japan, you're straight back with the promoter hat because I guess from what Mambo said when he and TK were on the podcast, like I guess early 2024, you sort of realized that you weren't busy enough and needed another thing to be doing.
I'm one of those guys that takes on too much, then goes the other way and says, right, I need a hard reset. I need a bit of time off. I need to relax. And it turns out I can't relax. I'm one of those people that just finds it impossible to relax. So I always like to have projects going on. I like to keep busy. And Pro Wrestling Ceasefire just seems to be filling a hole I didn't really know I had. It's I mean, I say this to Mambo all the time, and I say it to everyone on the shows. You know, I'm very lucky that I've been involved in many different projects in different areas of the country and in different positions, but I've always been how should I put it, very uppity, very strict, very no, we've got to be serious, guys. We gotta take this seriously, and it's all gonna be this. And like I've got such a detailed plan. But with Pro Wrestling Ceasefire, I just go, right, here's the hall, here's 12 of the best wrestlers in the country. I don't need to tell them what to do. Here are your matches. I don't need to micromanage them at all. And as a promoter, it's the most fun I've had by far in my career. And it's also the most relaxed I've been, to the point where I think if you go back and watch the main event from Ceasefire 1, you can see me. I'm just in the crowd next to my brother having a beer. I never would have done that at the other shows. But yeah, it's really satisfying and gratifying. We've got a great team. You know, it started off with just myself and Mambo. We brought along Bo Bells and Charlie Jameson. They're absolutely fantastic. And of course, Zuby and Momo from Friends of Alexa. It's just a really nice team that's come together naturally. And I'll be seeing them this Saturday, actually, in London. So be nice to catch up and also make some more plans for the future.
I love it. I love it. Like you say, you built this, like, again, what seems like a really solid team of people that that just all are very just passionate about it, but not passionate just about the wrestling side of it, but also like about the cause, about the reason you guys set up in the first place, which is like just really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've said this a few times as well, but what's been really reaffirming, I think is the right word to use, about this project is that when Mambo and I started it, we did have a little bit of fear or anxiety that if we contacted people, they'd go, "Oh, I don't know, it's it's a little bit too political. It's a little bit of a hot issue right now. I don't know." There isn't a single person we've contacted that has said that. Every single person we've wanted to work with has just gone, "Yep, boom, what date is it again? I'll be there." The only time we haven't been able to have people on is because they're literally not in the country and they're gutted and they want to be on. And through that, we found this nice little community of people who not just love wrestling, but want justice, hate what's going on. And I mean, today we got a step closer with news that apparently there'll be a ceasefire effective 19th of January, which is wonderful to hear. We hope, hopefully, we hope it is definite and it's moving in the right direction. But it's going to be decades before infrastructure is back to anywhere near line level capacity. So the work that UNICEF and the Red Cross do is essential. And the ceasefire news is great, but UNICEF and Red Cross still need those donations. They need them more than ever. And I quite ambitiously said this year I'd love PWC to cross the £10,000 mark in donations. It sounds ambitious, but after 2 shows, we've already raised 3,000. So if we keep raising the bar and we keep stacking the raffle prizes, maybe we'll hit that goal.
I was going to say before we get into the first few things you got lined up for this year, like Mambo has hinted to me a couple of times that you could be taking ceasefire on tour, as it were, around the country. Is that a thing? Is that in the plans, in the pipeline?
It absolutely is. Again, it's just a logistical thing. We definitely want to hit Bristol because that is Mambo's hometown. He's got great roots there. He's got great connections there, and there are people we want to work with in Bristol and Brighton as well, just because very vocally passionate about justice for Palestine, freedom for Palestine. They're areas that we know would be great to host a PWC show.
Yeah. Also, I'm from Brighton, just so you know, born and raised. So.
Oh, perfect. I mean, there we go. So yeah, we definitely want to hit the road. It's just a matter of making sure all the right people are free at the same time. And now that I'm back in the country, I think I might make that one of our main focuses.
Love that. I love that. And like we say, you've got a busy start to 2025. First up, coming up at the end of the month, is the Shinies, your awards ceremony, first annual awards. I mean, okay, so I got to ask, just generally, in terms of being busy enough with already planning the February show, why an awards show?
It's something I've always just wanted to do. So in 2019, back when they were known as Escaping the Mid-Card, Mambo and TK ran the Middies, and it was just an excuse for a bit of a get-together and a party. The awards were ridiculous. Some of them I remember, some of them I don't think I can repeat. But it was just a really fun evening. But, they really put the effort in. TK had done a slideshow. He'd made a logo for it. He downloaded the Oscars theme. So when someone's speech was going on too long, he'd turn the volume up to cue them off the stage. And I always just thought that was a really fun thing to do to bring the community together. And that is one of the focuses of Pro Wrestling Ceasefire, especially now we've got Bo and Charlie on board, is as well as putting on wrestling events, we want to increase this sense of community and togetherness. So running something like the Shinies, first of all, it's really cost effective for us because, we don't have the overheads of ring hire and the talent and the expenses, but it means we can put on an event with our branding that fans want to come to, have a good time, and it's more money that goes towards the next show. So it seemed like a win-win-win, and we do have a couple of surprises up our sleeves as well for the show to entice people to come. It's
Yeah, right. That's the main surprise, right? That's
what's the main surprise?
the cock of the year, right? Is that it? Is I said it was that.
Hey, that award, it could go to anyone. I have no idea who's going to win that.
But I think we're all aware, unless it's like one of those ones that's like named after someone, like in dedication of. So like Jordan Saeed can't win it, but he gets to pick who.
Hey, I had to hand sift through all the nominations people submitted, and there wasn't a single one that wasn't for Jordan Saeed. But hey, like I said, who knows? Could be anyone's game.
Anything can happen. I love it. I love it. No, it's gonna be great. It seems like it's gonna be just like a really fun occasion. I mean, like obviously you can't tell us who's won awards and stuff like that, but what are we talking? We're not talking. Are we talking just people that have been in Ceasefire? Or are we talking are we talking countrywide awards here?
It's BritWres, it's BritRes wide, it's countrywide. So we let the fans pick the awards first of all. We made a completely open ballot, and we said, look, what do you want the categories to be? And then we knew the obvious ones would be like outstanding wrestler of the year, tag team of the year, match of the year. But then people threw in really cool ideas like sickest entrance music, sickest finishing move, death match moment of the year. So we've got sort of all corners of wrestling covered. And so that was an open ballot. Then the first round of voting we left open as well. So you could vote for anyone in British wrestling as long as they wrestled or competed or the moment happened in 2024. And now we received over 500 votes, went through them all, and we've whittled it down to the top 4 options for each category. There's some really great nominees in there, and just looking through the ballot makes you appreciate the talent we have in the scene right now, because anyone who's nominated could win and nobody would bat an eyelid, because everyone nominated is worthy not just of the nomination but of winning. Because I mean, we say it all the time, and sometimes it sounds cliche or like you're just trying to please people, but BritWres really is the hottest it has been in a long time, and you're really seeing talent come out of towns that used to not even get a look in. It seems like they're getting, younger than ever. Leon Cage, I can't think of the last time he was on a show and the commentator, myself included, didn't have to throw in, oh, and by the way, he's only 17 and he's that damn good,
If you got Leon Cage, Leon Slater, Sapphire Reed, ZZ's there, but there's some ridiculously young, ridiculously talented wrestlers in this country.
And they can't even drink in the States, but they're absolutely dominating British wrestling.
The US tour pure can't even fully just.
Yeah, we'll get you a visa, but you can't come to the pub. That's basically the rule of the US tour if they get on it.
They get the drive home, and that's the thing, isn't it? You get a visa for them, they go out there, they're your designated driver straight away.
There you go, win-win. I'll remember that for the Ceasefire US tour if it ever happens.
Amazing. But that's the thing, isn't it, with these awards? Like you say, it's going to be so interesting to see because there's been so much time. There is so much time. And like you say, I think, and I say it to so many people, BritWres at the minute is not as big as it was 2019, 2018 pre-pandemic. But I think pound for pound, I think the talent is better.
I think that's a pretty good, pretty good analysis. I'd say maybe the gates aren't there, and maybe the ticket sales aren't where they used to be, and maybe the volume of shows actually has decreased. I remember fondly of a week in 2019 where Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I had shows. 7 days in a row of shows in August, and every single one of those shows was sold out, or they had 1 or 2 tickets left. Whether we'll get back to that stage, I don't know. I hope so. But like you said, the talent is there and arguably better than ever. And I think that as well is down to the quality of schools has improved as well. I mean, just look at some of the talent New Wave Academy is churning out. It's absolutely unreal. And then also PPW. Do I say they're in the Midlands or up north? I don't actually know, and I don't want to get in trouble for it.
Now, PPW, I'd say, is north, right? It's
north, yeah. But yeah, PPW, I mean, absolutely killing it, not just in terms of the talent they're producing, but the content they're producing as well. So I think, you know, between the youth of the talent and the quality of the training schools, the scene is stronger than it's ever been in ring, and hopefully we can get back to 7 days in a row of sold out shows, because that'd be great for me, if I must say.
I was going to say tiring though, bloody hell. We did like, you know, obviously even just as a fan doing like the all-in weekenders like the last 2 years has been, by the end of it, you're just like, fucking hell, like, absolutely dead on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, Mambo and I often say we really do appreciate so much when we see, you know, the same fans at 4 shows in a row or doing these crazy weekenders, and sometimes they do crazier travel than us. I remember actually, God bless her, Sharon Chambers. I was catching up with her at Electric Ballroom, and she was showing me her travel itinerary, because she has to come, you know, all the way from Wales to London. She goes back and forth, back and forth. And I said, Sharon, I've got 3 shows on this weekend, and you're doing more miles than me. This is not how it's meant to work.
It is outrageous. It is outrageous. Like people put in and that's the thing about, I think, like British wrestling fans is they put in the graft to go to their shows. They put in the travel and put in the miles. Like
we've got the ultras, we've got the diehard fans, and that's what kept the scene alive. You know, during COVID, during the, you know, the Fed ransacking. You know, it's the passion of the fans and the willingness to the willingness to travel and financially support the scene, and you know, we have to always be grateful for that, and you know, give people their flowers while we can.
exactly. And that brings us nicely into our first little feature that we've got here on the show. We're going to get into the Ceasefire February show, but we're bigging up all the good on the scene. I think it's a perfect time to bring in our first speaker on the show, which is called Dishing the Dirt. And this is very different. It's not big enough. Well, it is bigging up the scene. I'm gonna pose some questions to you, and I want you to let me know which member of the locker and which wrestler you've worked with in the past or currently best suits each thing.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see how this goes.
So, and we're keeping it BritWres. So the first one is who's always running late? Who's usually running late?
Be quicker to tell you who's running on time. I love him, but Connor Mills, by far. Actually, I'll tell you what, not in wrestling, all right, if I give him a time to be at the venue or a time to be at the car, he's on time. But in real life, it's unreal.
I think we've had Connor before. I think a few people have said Connor, so I can tell that's fairly bad. It's clear. Yeah. The next one I always equate to like to carpools and stuff like that, because it's who has the worst music taste.
Oh. One of my first ever wrestling car road trips. Oh, where were we going? I think it was Wrestling League. It must have been 2017. And Roy Johnson was the driver, and bless him, because it was such a long drive, and he got us all there and back. But it didn't sound like music. You know, like on Rick and Morty, like interdimensional cable, and like none of the TV shows make sense. It was sort of like Ibiza club classics, but just really, maybe it's because I kept like falling asleep. So like, you know, I'd like fall asleep during one song and wake up during the other. But I just remember thinking, this is some of the worst music I've ever heard. But lovely guy, got us there and back in one piece. Really nice car as well. He keeps nice clean car. But the tunes were not there, so that's the only one that comes to mind.
You're not going to be going out to Ibiza with him anytime soon.
Seeing what him and Jordan get up to, I think I'll stay here in Old Blighty. Thank you very much.
Amazing. The next one is my favorite one on the list by far, and it's a tough one. It's a tough one from the people we've had answer it. They can agree. Who would you, under no circumstances, let a family member date?
Jordan Said.
So quick.
I mean, I feel like few people would answer that as well.
Yeah. No, we've definitely had a couple. You don't. Yeah. I think it's a wise call. Purely, I think purely for two things which I've learned. Well, not two things that are divisive. The cock chair isn't divisive, but you don't want the knowledge of where that's been. And the thing that's the most divisive is, of course, his fashion. Like,
it's mainly the fashion. I mean, I think people are more open these days. I think the cucking would worry people less than the socks and the pink hoodie. I think that is what worries people more.
it is divisive. It is divisive. We had people come on who are like, hate it. We had, speaking of Roy Johnson, we had him and Jesse on the podcast just before Christmas. And she was fuming because he wore the socks to her like wedding party that they had. And I was
Dedication to the gimmick, you got to give it to him.
And then we've had people say they love it. We've had people say, like, not that they love it like they'd wear it, but they love it because it's like something that only Jordan could wear. Like, if anyone else wore it, it'd be terrible, but he pulls it off.
I mean, that's kind of Jordan summed up. Everything about him on another person, you'd call the police, but somehow on him, it makes sense, and he gets the fight with it. So, Jordan, keep doing you, baby, because you're one in a million, 1 in a billion.
The mystery that is Jordan Said. Oh, we love him. We love him. The next one is it's perfect because it's the same answer. It's who has the worst dress sense.
Yeah, Jordan Said. Or me in 2016 because I just hadn't worked out yet. But I think I managed to destroy all evidence of those photos. So yeah, Jordan Said or best. It's the best and worst at the same time.
If there's no proof, then the bad fucking never happened. Yeah. The next one is the opposite of that. It's the nicer version. It's the nicer version of that. Gio, you're getting in the ring. You're getting in the ring for a match. You're getting in the ring at the next Ceasefire main event as, I don't know, Gio and the refs versus Sunshine Machine and the EC Butchers.
Oh, God, don't lock me in with that mess.
That would be mental. That would be mental. The refs need revenge at some point. They do. So you're getting in the ring. You've got to borrow someone's gear because you had this lovely gear designed for yourself and you get to the venue and you've forgotten your gear. You've got to borrow someone's gear now, and it's one size fits all. You can pick anyone you want. Everything you pick is going to fit you. Whose gear do you look at and you're like, I would look good in that?
Nina Samuels, because I want to wear the tiny hat.
Yes, everyone wants to wear the tiny hat. Everyone. Like the pink and black sparkly gear. Oh, it's a look. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely Nina. I'd keep the hat on during the match as well. I found a way.
That's impossible. It's not possible. I'm sure she must have tried it at some point. There's no way it's doable.
Yeah, I'll have to do some tape study and see how she does it.
Amazing. It is sick gear, though. It is sick gear. Clearly you've thought about this, though, because everyone else has to think about it a long time, and you were just right in there.
As soon as you asked the question, I just thought of, like, who has, like, the entrance gear I think about the most. And I was like, whenever I see her wrestle, I think, how does the hat stay on during the entrance? So maybe this is my way of finding out for sure.
Yeah. She's just got that poise when she comes to the ring, you know what I mean? It's easy. But, like, I feel something you have to work at. The next one is who would throw the best party in the locker room? Who would throw the best party in BritWres? The party. Well, I say the best party. Who would throw the party you would want to be at?
Oh, good question. I tell you what, Rain Leverkusen and Harrison Bennett throw a pretty sick party. They threw it the first inaugural Cardiff darts tourney recently, and I sadly couldn't make it, but the photos and videos were enough to make me jealous. So I think Rain and Harrison's going to be my answer.
Darts tournament? That's outrageous. I can't believe I wasn't invited out. Oh, I'm so hurt. Unbelievable. That does sound fun. Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to throw one at Pro Wrestling CEASEFIRE.
Oh, yes. A dance party at CEASEFIRE would be so random. Yeah. No, that sounds like it could be a good party. I feel like it's a mix of good music tastes with them as well. Like if you were going like sort of proper DJ setup, like you'd have a good time.
Yeah. I mean, if Rain's near the Orcs Court, I'm going to have a good time. If it's Harrison, I might have to go outside for a little bit. After a while, it just sounds like like those massage guns. It just kind of sounds like that on like a metal door for a while. Some of it's good, but I like one of those songs. Maybe he likes it all. No, you're
Right. It's very, when I said that, it's very strongly sided towards the Rain part, the Maidens, the Motley Crues, the Alice Coopers, like that.
Yeah, Rain and I had very similar music taste. I think it's why we're such good friends.
There we go. In that case, I'll have my hat in the ring for that. Because yes, like, love it. Maiden, favorite band of all time. Like, nothing tops that for me. So like, yeah, it's very similar. That's why, like, when Rain came out, I was originally like, this might be my new favorite wrestler. Because she was wearing the shirt and the jacket. I was like, hello.
Yeah, she rocks, man.
Yeah, she's really, and again, like, come back from the injury so strong, like, almost like not even like missed a beat.
Yeah, I mean, sadly in this business, just because I've been actually next month it'll be my 9th year in wrestling. So you know, in all that time and all the locker rooms I've been in, I've seen people go through some really horrible injuries. Some people never fully rehab. Some people they come back too early, or some people they just give up. But watching Reigns come back up close, and not just the match where she came back. I mean, seeing her right after the injury, seeing her during the injury, seeing how hard she fought to come back, and not just like, oh yeah, I'll get it to this percent and then I'll just like get back in the ring. She was in the gym and, you know, in the training school, you know, more than some people who say they do it full time are doing it right now. You know, she worked so hard at it, and I'll never forget when she did eventually make her comeback and she came down the stairs at the Color Factory. And she, she had her leg over the stairs and she was doing her pose, and you can't fake that kind of fire and passion in the eyes. Like, I could see how hard she was trying to keep those tears in and not cry, but I've never seen someone work so hard to come back from an injury. Her passion is unmatched, and you know, they're the reason she's doing as well as she is. She's one of the best in the country, regardless of gender.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, again, even injury aside, like, not even been in the business that long. Like, what was it when she went out to Japan? She'd be doing it.
She's taken to it like a fish to water. It's unreal, and she absolutely killed it in DDT in Japan.
Yeah, she smashed it, and hopefully she'll get back out there, because like, gosh, she deserves it. Gosh,
Yeah,
for sure. And actually, to be fair, Rain might be a perfect choice for our last question. This is the other one. The sibling dating one is my favorite one, but this is the most important, I feel, because I think this tells me the most about who you value in the locker room. Because this is, who would you want to be your partner in the zombie apocalypse?
Oh, Nico Angelo, he's already got a club and a spike ready to go.
Oh, it's such a great choice. You got the weapon. He's just like mental, like absolutely jacked, gonna take out everyone anyway. You can just chill with Nico. Like, you can, like, he'll do it and you can just like chill.
Yeah, he's a little jacked, angry Italian Welshman with a Navy background and a weapon all ready to go. I mean, I can't think of anyone I'd pick over Nico.
When you're picking traits to have, I mean, that's like perfect checklist.
Yeah, he's my go-to zombie apocalypse partner for sure.
Yeah, and a reason for that, obviously, like, he's insane. And again, I think it's one of those ones where Nico is so good, and I think he is one of the most underrated people on the scene at the minute. I think, again, people don't realize how good he really is.
Oh, 100%. And the last quarter of 2024, he was definitely getting more recognition and getting put in the places he should be. And I'm really glad to see him in progress with Mills, of all people. I mean, on paper, that might be the best tag team in the country. But, you know, it's not like Nico suddenly, you know, kicked it up a gear or suddenly changed something or found this missing piece. He has been at that level for a good, 3 or 4 years. It's just that he didn't have the right eyes on him. So the work you're seeing him do now, and you're saying this is his best work ever. Yes, it is his best work ever, and it's the same work he's been doing for 3 or 4 years. He's absolutely one of the best in the country. He's TV ready now. You know, look, charisma, moveset. Do you know how hard it is to invent a new finishing move in this day and age where we've seen it all and it's all been said and done? Split personality. That's my vote for sickest move of the year in the 2024 Shinies. But yeah, he's absolutely fantastic, and I'm really glad to see him doing good things in Progress.
Yeah, love Nico, love Nico. And again, like going back to Ceasefire, that match that he and Mills had at the second Ceasefire show was unreal, like unbelievable.
Yeah, and that was how we kicked off the show. So talk about setting the bar high.
I was gonna get you said it really high because obviously the big, I guess like there were a lot of big draws on that show. I'm not gonna lie, but like a huge draw was the fact it was Kanji and Jordon Breaks too, and everyone knew how the first one was. And you put it on after that. You had them like follow, not straight after, but you had them follow that. I mean, like that's defense, isn't it? Being like,
I know. Well, I mean, the thing with these ceasefire cards is I try and make them as stacked as possible. So really, I feel like you could really put the matches in any order and no one would bat an eyelid. I think every match we've booked is worthy of being a main event. And also the fact that we only book, 4 matches a show, we do 2 and 2, means that the crowd doesn't get burnt out. And if match 1 is absolutely balls to the wall in the way Nico Angelo versus Connor Mills was, there's 3 more to go. You're not going to be as burnt out as if you're, watching, some, 16 match back-to-back TV taping. And, the talent does have that little bit more freedom because with only 4 matches, we don't have to worry so much about, timings or overrunning. And, like I said before, I only book very, very talented wrestlers. So I know that whatever I ask them to do or where I put them on the card, they'll smash it and the crowd will love it.
yeah, and I love that, and I love that. And again, before we get into the February show, I got to ask, like, I mean, how like I guess again like validating or like assuring has it been to see the reaction that Ceasefire has got, not just from like the local crowd that like come to the shows, but also like from further afield in terms of the reception you've got, the eyes that are on it, and like people just seem to have taken to it so quickly and so strongly.
I honestly didn't expect it at all. I thought it would be a niche little thing that maybe sold 50 tickets during All-In Weekend to capitalize on all the tourism that was in the city at the time. But it means a lot that it struck a chord with people and that they are enjoying the content we put out. I mean, that's all you ever really want as a promoter is for your vision of wrestling to be appreciated and liked, because there's no worse feeling than something you in your heart of hearts think is like a great idea or great booking and you put a lot of time and money into it and then you just see someone online go, that was shit. But it's been the exact opposite experience with Ceasefire. And the fact that there are people in USA, Canada, France, Germany, to name a few, wearing our merch is insane. The fact that we've had, Mansoor, Mojo Rawley, Dean Matadi, and Mustafa Ali, work with us on such a close level, it blows my mind because this started as a text message with Mambo. And we thought the first show was going to be a flop. We had like problems with the music and the video. We were like, this is kind of amateur hour over here. But, we've hit our stride. And that Kanji versus Jordon match specifically, I need to check, but I think it's hit over, I think it's nearing, 25,000 views on YouTube. People are still talking about it to this day. For my money, the best match I saw with my own eyes in 2024. It's a match I wanted to book since I started running shows in 2018, but I just never had the chance. So the fact that I finally got to be the first person to book Jordon versus Kanji and that it was every bit as good as I knew it would be and then some was very, very satisfying and fulfilling for me. And I'm just really grateful it's taken off in the way it has. But, it wouldn't be possible without the help of Mambo, Bose, Zubi Momo, and now Charlie. And, of course, all the fans that supported us and helped us sell out the front row, I think, only 3 days after we put tickets on sale. We never would have thought that would happen.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is amazing. And like big props to you. Big props to you for that. I mean,
Thank you.
Again, you mentioned Kanji Jordon, and like we've got to talk about that because again, like for my money, did it in the Grapple Awards. I thought it was match of the year. Like I know the obvious answer is Osprey Oku, but I went for that one purely because then I put it in the tweet and I said it to like other people, but like I thought, and the same with the show, I thought for a Thursday night, clearly like the smallest show of all in weekend, I thought you guys had no right being as good as you were. Like for my money, it was the show of all in weekend discounting Wembley, and like I just thought you guys smashed it, and I thought that match was like I knew it was going to be good, but I was blown away by how good it really was because I was like in my head I had this idea of it being like a 5-star match, and it even surpassed that. I was like I knew it would be great, but this is like next level.
We really felt like the underdogs of All In Weekend, and I think in a way we were because, you know, we obviously didn't have the big financial backing that a lot of the shows running that weekend did, and we were also the one that had the least time to promote. We were, we put the card together with just 6 weeks' notice, I think it was. No, we found the venue with 6 weeks' notice, so you know, just over a month or maybe exactly a month to promote. And yeah, you know, very small community hall, you know, no pyro and ballyhoo, no glitz and glamour. But the talent was there. And like you said, we had the odds stacked against us. It was a Thursday night in a tiny hall against, you know, the biggest show in British wrestling history. Progress running. You had Attack North and Hustle combining to run at the Garage, which is a very nice venue.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what they didn't have. They didn't have Kanji versus Jordon Breaks. And those were the first two people I contacted after Mambo. I got Mambo sorted, and once I had the venue sorted and Mambo was on board, I texted Kanji, I texted Jordan, and I said, I really hope you're free because I've been trying to book this match for 5 years. They were both immediately so excited. I think that day, I think, was the first time they met as well. They hadn't met before that day. And then they got in the ring and just produced that absolute instant classic that I still think about to this day. Just I remember providing the commentary for that match, and just I was trying to stay professional, but I was honestly just marking out and losing my mind. I was having such a great time watching a match that I finally was able to book after all these years.
And the fact, like you said, the fact they never met before that is like that adds another layer to how good it was. Like you never even met this person. You don't know how your dynamic is going to be if you still have that match.
Yeah, and it's almost like they're perfect dance partners, honestly.
Yeah, I think again, like Jordan is someone who's been great. Kanji's been like phenomenal for years, but has been up and down with injuries and stuff. And I felt like this was her year. I felt this was the year that everything clicked for her. Like
absolutely. I mean, back in 2019, she was the individual I wanted to build my women's division around, and sadly, it was derailed due to injuries. But you know, we had so many fantastic moments with her. Winning 2 matches in one night in the women's championship tournament. My proudest moment in my production career. Then one of my favorite wrestling moments in general is her feud with Danny Luna, where she got put through the stage. You know, that was all because, you know, I saw and I still do see just so much in her. I think she's one of those people that was born to do professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it was really stop-start with all those injuries, and you know, it was really sad to see how much it got her down and how hard she had to fight to get back.
Yeah.
But I think she's really hit her stride. She's been really healthy for a long time now, and now that we're far enough post-pandemic, and she's working in venues the size she deserves, you know, such as Copper Box Arena, Crystal Palace Sports Arena. The sky's the limit for her. I'll be amazed if she isn't snapped up by a big TV company in the next couple of years, because she's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And I think the thing that's great about Kanji is that she's so versatile. Like we saw with Jordan, she can have the technical classic, or she can have like the hard hitting, like you said, like with the Danny one, for example, like she can have like the hard hitting sort of balls to the wall match, or like you see with her and Emerson Jane at the minute, and Eve, she can have like just the comedy match that's really funny and doesn't need to be anything more than that. Like she can do all of it and do all of it so perfectly.
Absolutely. She's a promoter's dream. You can put her anywhere on the card or with any wrestler and she'll produce gold. it's very rare to find someone who can do a serious, hard-hitting main event and comedy at the same level. They're either very good at one and terrible at the other, or vice versa. But she, she's yet to fail at a task yet. Honestly, I've never seen her have something thrown at her that she couldn't handle. And yeah, we're very lucky to have her, and we should enjoy her while we can, because she's gonna get snapped up. I'm telling you, that's why I'm booking her all the time at Ceasefire, because I'm making the most of it while we can.
Exactly. It's gonna be one of those ones. I hope it's not. I hope it's not. It's a fear of mine that, like, with so many, to be fair, like we said with Nico, like with Connor Mills as well, like where, like, I hope it's not a case where a bunch of fans only appreciate them once they're signed. Like, you know, like that whole don't know what you've got till it's gone kind of thing. Like, appreciate them now while we can see them now, because they won't be here forever.
Absolutely. And also, as much as I love going to a big stadium show with the pyro and ballyhoo, and where they feel like much larger than life, there is nothing like being packed shoulder to shoulder in a very small music venue or nightclub or community hall, and being that close to the ring without a guardrail. You will never replicate that feeling. And getting to see Connor Mills, Nico Angelo, Kanji, Chuck Mambo, TK Cooper, Millie McKenzie, Charlie Evans, Mark True, Kieran Lacey, all these fantastic talents. There's too many to name, so I'm going to stop there. But getting to see them this up close is an absolute privilege, and it's an important reason why we should support the independent scene. Because these stadium shows, you will never get as close. You won't have that feeling, and here is where you can really get in and support them from the ground level.
Yeah, and there is that feeling that comes with, again, when you go to a stadium show and someone's been on it who you saw in that village hall, that town hall, in front of 50 people, 100 people, where you're like, I saw them when they were like doing that show. This is mental.
It's unreal. I think that every time I see Pretty Deadly on TV, and I'm very lucky I still stay in touch with Kit, Sammy. But I remember meeting him on my very first day of training. He was only a couple years in himself, but he was clearly the top of the class in the future. But I just remember seeing him absolutely throw himself around into the judo mats on the floor, because we didn't even have a ring sometimes. And then all the way up to, you see these photos and videos of him talking with John Cena and doing these incredible spots, on pay-per-views and on TV. It's something we should all aspire to. It's incredibly motivating. What can happen if you just believe in yourself and don't give up? I hate to sound cheesy, but it's so true, because I remember actually a couple months in, I was really struggling with a flip bump. I just couldn't do it. I was too in my own head, and Sammy took me aside and was helping me one-on-one to get through it. And we started talking about what our goals were, and he said to me, my goal is WWE. I want to be on SmackDown because it's my favorite. I love Blue. SmackDown's my favorite brand out of SmackDown and Raw, and I really believe I'll get to the WWE someday. And he did it. He's on SmackDown, and he's killing it. It's so amazing to see.
It's mental, isn't it? It's such a lovely feeling. Like, it's such a lovely feeling seeing those guys again just come up and just do such amazing work. It is brilliant. It is brilliant. And that brings us nicely into finally talking about Grappitism. Ceasefire's third show, February 23rd, right?
Thursday, the 20th of February. We're sticking with the Thursday night theme. Means we definitely don't clash with anyone.
Yep.
And it's a nice little bit of work night, school night wrestling. Matches announced so far. We've got the third and final bout in the trilogy between Kanji and Jordon Breaks. This time contested under my favorite match type, British rules. I absolutely love me a bit of rounds. It's gonna be an absolute clinic. I'm really happy that I'm able to put this on, and I'll give you an exclusive as well. It's gonna open the show. We're kicking off big time.
Oh,
so
open the show.
Yeah, we're opening the show with some British rounds.
You heard it here first. That's going to be huge. That is the way to kick off. And again, look at the first two matches they've had. Like, if you haven't watched them, go and watch them now, because they're incredible. Like, this is possibly going to be one of British wrestling's greatest trilogies.
Yeah, and for Kanji, it'll be another fantastic trilogy she's been a part of. Obviously, that incredible trilogy with Charlie Evans at Wrestling Resurgence. And now she's got a a new dance partner in Jordon Breaks. I hope it isn't the last time we see them wrestle, but selfishly, I hope that every time they wrestle is for me, because I'm so glad that I've been able to bring this match to the masses. And I think this third bout, it will be a celebration of professional wrestling. You've got the homage to the past with the British round style, but you've got that futuristic twist on it with the talents that are Kanji and Jordon. It's a really nice bridge between modern and present, and it is probably going to be my proudest achievement as a promoter. I'm really looking forward to that one, and I'll almost be watching as a fan. I'll have to make sure I don't get too drawn in, and I keep an eye on the timer for the 5-minute rounds.
I was gonna say, like, we've spoken to a few people who do like comms and announcing and stuff, and it's like, like, all my credit goes to you guys, because I don't know how you go through like watching matches, commentating on matches, and not get too sucked into them to the point where you forget what you do.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started doing it, I was quite a bad one for it. I would, because you have to call what's on the monitor, because that's what the on-demand viewers see. But I'd be watching the ring, and I remember a couple of times Andy Q would hit me on the shoulder and go, like, look at the monitor. But I mean, especially with these British rounds matches, I remember doing them for Head Drop. Rob Brazier's shows, which are definitely some of my favorites to call. I absolutely loved doing the Head Drop show for Restival at the Pleasance Theatre. But when I do that, I'm hosting, announcing, timekeeping, doing the rounds, keeping the score. So you have to really be on the ball doing that. But it doesn't take away from the enjoyment of the match at all. If anything, it adds to it, because I feel like I'm part of the bout, and it scratches this nice part of my brain that loves like organization and rules and numbers. I love me a bit around. I hope Head Drop comes back one day. Actually, I was gutted that they sadly had to postpone their last show. I was really looking forward. If you want to get your fix of traditional British rounds wrestling, come on down to Graptivism at Chandler Hall on Thursday, the 20th of February.
Yeah, and see an absolute clinic. And as well as that, again, like we were talking about before we start recording, you guys just love booking chaotic multi-man tag main events, and this is going to be another one. So what was the first one? We had TK Mambo against the EC Butchers in a match that saw all of the referees get attacked as well. And
the irony with that one is that they really thought they were going to have an easy night, because when I told them that there were 4 matches and 3 referees, they went, "You're joking. This is like an absolute dream for us. Normally, someone will book an 8-match card and I'll be the only ref. This is, they thought they were going to have a nice night off, have a couple of beers, have a couple of pizzas, the ones that didn't go missing backstage, and then they end up taking an absolute battering."
And it was great. It was wonderful. I mean, like where I was standing, he had Tom Scarborough. He was on the floor. He was getting his arm bandaged, and he was crawling. I don't know if you saw this. He was crawling on the floor, undoing people's laces as he was.
Yeah, I've seen the footage from gorilla position. And, he must have been really knocked loopy to be doing that.
It was mad. I was like, yeah, when we had him on the podcast, I must have had it. He was like, I don't remember doing that. It was incredible. It was brilliant. And then obviously, on the last show, again, multi-man tag main event, Medusa Complex coming over for it. Charlie Evans is over. Medusa Complex on the show. Sunshine Machine again, EC Butchers, and True and Lacey. Like, that's 4 incredible tag teams. And again, it was just as mental. The cut-off chair came out. They were getting attacked with pears. I don't know what the pears are. I thought you planned the pears, but TK was like, no, there was just a box of pears outside.
I didn't know there were pears in the building until I saw it get thrown during the main. And I had my promoter head on, and I was like, oh, I hope those aren't like important pears that someone else in the venue needs. Luckily, they weren't.
Yeah, I thought that. I was like, oh, it must be like space. And there's like a box of pears. And TK was like, no, we just saw them out there. We were like, oh, should we bring them in? It was ridiculous. And again, obviously, like, we all know that the reason that True and Lacey got that no is from their time then, because they just had the most incredible year. They've been absolutely smacking it everywhere. But you guys had them like take a beating in that match. Like everything bad that was happening to Drew and Lacey. Like Vegas got slaughtered.
Well, it's probably a bit of comeuppance just for the way they rub people in the ring, I guess. But I'm I'm really glad that just they got to interact with. I think most of the people they wrestled in that match. I think it was for the first time. Definitely with Millie and Charlie.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just we were putting the card together, and we had the opportunity to use Charlie and Millie, which I was really keen on, and I really wanted to get obviously Mark and Kieran on as well because I've been working with them since 2018, and they're just so talented. But we really wanted to stick to the 4-match format, and we thought, but we've still got to get East City Butchers and the Sunshine Machine on as well. So we just thought, well, do what any good mid-2000s general manager would do, just stick them all in one match, 4 corners. And like I've said a few times already, if you just put fantastic wrestlers in the ring and just say go nuts, you'll end up with something amazing.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? Like that's the thing with, again, talking to TK and Mambo about before that show, about like the first show and that match they had, and also going into the second match. Like it seemed like the sort of thing where, again, Ceasefire sort of does it all. Like you had, like the second show, you had the hard-hitting, incredible action that was Nico Mills. And then you had, like, again, the follow-up of the technical classic that was Kanji and Jordon. And then in the main event, you just had more chaos again. You just had more absolutely ridiculous behavior that, like, and it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? It's like you have like the 2 great matches that are great for different reasons. Then you had Leon, didn't you, on the third match? It was Leon and
Surprise, which we're really happy about.
That was crazy. Like that match was brilliant. A great way to like kick off like back from the break. And then you have like the sort of like comedy but still really good wrestling match to close it. And it just brings everything together. It's just like a bit of something for everyone, depending on what you like.
Yeah, it just builds really nicely, which is why I'm such a fan of the 4-match format. And I think it's something that makes us stick out, because you can't argue with the quality of the card and the quality of the talent, but you just don't get burnt out because we pack it all into our runtime. I wouldn't say, none of the matches, I'd say, leave people feeling shortchanged at all. But you get lots of different styles of wrestling from lots of different performers, and everyone goes home on time, which is, when I've been a fan at shows, that is what I want mostly. I want to get home on time. I want the time that is on the advertised listing to be accurate. So I try and do that with the shows I run.
No, and I love that. And I love that. And again, like, I think other people are following suit as well now. Like, again, like Eve, Dan Reed has started going to for most shows, apart from obviously their last Wrestle Kingdom show they had, going to a 4-match card for those. And like, it just works so much nicer. Again, like you say, there's no burnout. You have a couple of matches, you have your break, you have another couple of matches, and it's good. It's fast paced. And you're going to finish on time. And like you say, as a fan as well, like not having to look at my watch and be like, am I going to miss the train, is such a nice feeling.
Yeah, it takes you out the moment if you have to constantly be thinking, maybe if I leave in 5 minutes, I can get the bus. You want to fully enjoy the show and work out about getting home later.
Exactly. No, I love it. Well, Gio, thanks so much for coming on the podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you to talk about Ceasefire, talk about your time in Japan as well. Can't wait for the Shinies. Can't wait for Baptism as well. Anyone who's not going to tickets should definitely go and check it out, and check out the Kanji Jordon matches if you haven't seen them, as I've already said. But before we wrap up here, I've got one more question for you, Gio. And it's a sort of like a running tradition here that we have on the show, where our last guest leaves a question for our next guest. So, yeah, so I've got, if I can find it, which I should have it, but I don't seem to have it. Where is it? I'm going to try and find it now. Give me a second.
No worries. We'll cut this out the edit. Don't worry.
Here we go. Yeah, I got it. There we go. So this question is, yes, we close each show with a tradition where our last guest leave the question for our next guest. They have no idea who they're going to be leaving it for. You are not allowed to know who asked it to you either.
Okay.
So it's a very much open question with zero context. So the question you've been left is Gio, what is your Subway order?
It's so funny you ask that, because I had my first Subway in, I think it was like 8 years the other day.
What?
Yeah, I used to have it a lot when I was at college, so I think I just fell off the wagon. But I had my first Subway. Nah, maybe it wasn't 8 years, but definitely pre-pandemic.
That's
I had my first Subway since before the pandemic at the end of last year with Rain and Harrison.
what
I Yeah, I okay. So I'll tell you what it used to be, and I was devastated when they stopped doing it to the point where I emailed them to ask them to bring it back. Do you remember the mango chicken?
vaguely. I never tried it, but I saw it and I was like,
It was so good. And I ordered it all the time, and I assumed it was a regular fixture on the menu because I kept getting it. And then one day they took it off, and I asked, and they said, "Oh, it was only a temporary item," and I was heartbroken. But the most recent order I got, I believe it was it 6-inch hearty Italian, uh, chicken and bacon, melted cheddar, olives, lettuce, no tomato, some jalapenos, and then I think I stacked the sauces. I think I did, or was it the chipotle, the sweet onion, and maybe one other sauce. I can't remember, but that was definitely all on the sub.
nice. I like it. I think that's a strong order. My main question I had is, what sauce do you get with the mango chicken?
The mango chicken itself was so good, I tended to not get sauce. I think maybe I would have put. I liked it really sweet, so I probably would have put a bit more sweet onion, and then whatever their version of the chipotle was at the time.
Cheese though, right?
No, not on the mango chicken, but on the chicken and bacon, definitely some cheese.
So I was gonna say, yeah, cheese and mango doesn't sound like a favorite combo at all.
No. So I wonder if other countries still have the mango chicken because that was good. It was really good.
This is gonna be your arc now. It's gonna be the whole year trying to find the mango chicken.
Yeah, different McDonald's have different, regional items. Like there's got to be one franchise that still has the mango chicken, and I will find it.
We're going to come back to you. It's going to be first show of 2026. You're going to be looking all just disheveled. I'm going to be like, why weren't you running any shows last year? I've been searching for the mango chicken.
Yeah.
Been too busy. That's the arc. I love it. I love it. Well, Gio, thank you so much again for coming on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here. I hope you enjoyed it.
I loved every second. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm honored that you chose me to kick off the 2025 in Grapple Theory. And I'm looking forward to seeing as many people as possible, not just at Graptivism, but at the Shinies. Come and see who won the awards in person. Tickets are only £5. We've got the cheap bar, and we've got some insane raffle prizes we're revealing soon. I don't know how we got our hands on them, but wait till you see what we've got.
Oh, hell yeah. I love a good raffle. Although I can, for anyone who saw it, the raffle at the last show was
It was, hey, if people buy the tickets, I'm not in control of what happens next. I'm hoping I don't have to drop the elbow on a couple of tickets this time, though.
amazing. It was amazing. Well, you sort of just summed it up there, but obviously we plugged the shinies just there, but in terms of then for Grapvitism, for anyone else watching this who hasn't got their tickets for that yet and wants to come along, is thinking of coming along, it's free that evening, what would you say to them to get them down there to come to the show? What would be your final closing plug?
I'd say not only will it be a night you remember for a long time to come because of the quality of wrestling and because of the quality of community, but you are genuinely making a difference because so far we've raised £3,000 and counting for UNICEF UK and the Lebanese Red Cross. And after this show, we'll have raised even more. And, when you buy a raffle ticket, when you buy a drink, when you buy a hoodie, when you buy a shirt, that money, we put it in a pot. It goes to UNICEF UK and Lebanese Red Cross, and you can track our donations online. And it's just a lovely little community. People have come to our shows as complete strangers and left as friends. I know I certainly have. So that would be my selling point to you. Go visit Skiddle, Pro Wrestling Ceasefire, and grab tickets to Graptivism and the Shinies.